And we're with Pastor Micah Marino of Southport Church in West Sacramento. Pastor, I think the first question that everybody has on their mind is, how is these children's mother doing? Because Mrs. Hodges has gone through an incredible ordeal.
Yeah, the ordeal, of course, in a tragedy like this, it doesn't, it just keeps going in many capacities. And so going through grief, it's a process of learning to embrace loss. And so we're just fortunate that there are people that she is reaching out to be able to support and endorse and care, and she has that network of people that are able to surround her in this time as she is trying to take the steps of healing in that process. And so just continue to be in prayer and thoughts and support of every day that she's enduring now.
And part of that network has been the community here in West Sacramento, which has really stepped up. Has she indicated what that's meant to her?
Yeah, absolutely. The amazing response of the community as far as rallying around and meeting needs and fundraisers and GoFundMe accounts and everything has just been remarkable in her eyes, and how the family has received that. And part of the response to that has been inviting the community to share in this time of grief on Saturday at the service. And so it's something to commend in her bravery and her willingness to share that point of grieving with a community that has responded in such a large way to care for her in this time.
Now, everybody has stepped up very well, but are there still some outstanding needs that if people want to help, she might have?
There's always going to be outstanding needs as things develop and as we take these steps, either through the process of grieving and the services on Saturday or beyond. And so there still, of course, is always the option to continue to support her, whether it's through the GoFundMe account or it's through the Bank of America account that was established in her name. There's always the opportunity to receive further support as she continues to pick up life and move forward after she lays her children to rest on this weekend.
Now let's talk about that a little bit, because it's obviously going to be a very solemn service. What can we expect for folks who are going or who might not be able to go?
Absolutely. On Saturday, the public service is really the opportunity for different individuals in our community, whether it's city council or school board or individuals from the school, as well as the faith community, being able to rally and support. And as this was such a large community response to meeting the needs and trying to grieve and recover, there's a multifaceted opportunity in this service to expect and hear how we all are sharing in this grief with the family and with Mai Shang, and how we are pointing our direction towards hope and the opportunity of bearing this together. And we should understand that in this pain and in this grief, we get to bear it together with one another and finding a bit of reprieve from that.
Has having your counsel and building this new relationship with you helped bring her any comfort?
It's been remarkable how we have been placed in her realm of needs and care. You know, my wife and I, Jessica, we've been able to be in direct contact with her, support her, pray with her, do anything we can to try to bring steps of release and helping in the grief, and we continue to find ways, and we will in the long term be there for any way that we can to support her in the process of getting on with her life and getting over.
And you talked about the effect that it had on the community. You and your family, your wife and your children are part of that community.
Yeah.
How has it affected you and your neighbors?
Yeah, you know, we are a Southport elementary school family as well. Two of my kids go and attend to that school. And so it's just, it hits very close to home. And so we see how we as neighbors and other parents and whatnot may have regarded a larger space between each other. This whole event and ordeal has really reminded us how important it is to realize that we are neighbors and that we have shared values, shared goals. We live in the shared community, and though there's differences, there needs to be a new understanding of a need for peace and harmony between us, and finding ways to watch out for each other, support each other, celebrate and grieve with one another, as we're going to do on Saturday.
And one of the other things I keep thinking about, as you know, is that it's just unfathomable. We're both fathers, that a father could do, if he did indeed do this, could do something like that. I mean, is that part of what's going through the minds of some of these parents?
Absolutely. It's they can't even comprehend such a thought or act. And so uh, I would encourage people not to focus so much on the why, but being able to sometimes understand that with the existence of evil in the world, we can't fully understand why. And so not to be focused on trying to put an amount of hate or blame on someone who is, of course, broken in a lot of ways. And so we need to move from a place of hate or blame to compassion and forgiveness so that we can be able to grieve and move forward. And so that's really the best course of action in this time, so that the worst experience that could happen to a family should warrant the best response out of us, not the worst. And so we're able to rise above and find a way to make this and bring light into this dark reality that we all are sharing in at the time.
And I would imagine that everybody's faith plays a big role in that.
Absolutely. This has been a crisis for faith for some people because of the nature of this whole ordeal. And so what that does is it helps us, it either points us to faith, it helps us to question and bring clarity in that. And it's a wonderful opportunity for love and peace and the truth of who God is and how he uses us to be his hands and feet to demonstrate that and for us to be who we're called to be.
Has that been part of the message to your congregation as they deal with this tragedy?
Absolutely. Part of the message for us is we desire to be reconciled to God as well as with one another. And even though there's differences in that, we need to find that peace and harmony as we look to God for ways to find that closure as well as that purpose to not be defined by the hate, but to be defined by God's love. And so that's been a message we've been sharing in the last few months.
Pastor Micah Marino, Southport Church, you'll be leading the community as they lay these three children, the Hodges children, to rest on Saturday.
Absolutely. And I'm honored and thankful that there's a large network of pastors and just a large community of West Sacramento that's going to be standing there with us and doing what we need to do to lay these children to rest and celebrate their lives.
All right. Thank you, Pastor.
You're welcome. Thank you.